Now, Dushanji, how would you respond to this?
Namaskaram, Anand, and namaskaram to the viewers of News 18. Anand, honestly, if you ask me for a feedback, this isn't shocking to me at all. Because people who are not aware of the Tamil Nadu politics may find it quite shocking, new, and devastating. People who have known the Tamil Nadu politics and how it has been nourished and how it has been in the last 70, 80 years will know that from 1940s, 50s and 60s when E.V. Ramaswamy Nayakar, who is hailed as Periyar by his followers, he has made many statements to the effect, they are all there in the public light, stating that if he tells his followers, if you see a snake, if you spot a snake, and if you spot a Brahmin, don't kill the snake, kill the Brahmin. That's his statement. And many of his followers have gone to the extent of telling that once in one of the meetings in Trichy, I believe, he is said to have said that I need 2 kgs of Janeyu. In Tamil, it is called Poonal.
Poonal.
Whereas this Poonal, which is Janeyu, the sacred thread, he said, I need 2 kgs of this. So typically one may be about 20 or 30 grams. So imagine how many threads had to be cut. So this was the commandment that the Dravidian ideologue used to tell his followers, and his followers used to diligently practice it. Anand, there is a modus operandi. If you want to be anti-national, then you have to get anti-Hindu. And the first step to getting anti-Hindu is being anti-Brahmin. This is the modus operandi played by a lot of politicians. And the mother of all is the Dravidian parties and the Dravidian ideology. Their very basis is not for justice for all. It is hatred for Brahmins. And even Jayalalitha, who was an Iyengar, a Tamil Brahmin, her presence has not made much difference. And so this boy's Janeyu being cut is of course very shameful, but it isn't shocking because this is the reality. Today, Anand, News 18 makes this an issue and tells this to people. Who were there to tell people's rantings and their problems in 1960s and 70s? Like the Kashmiri Hindus, Tamil Brahmins have also faced persecution in a different way. It may not have been overnight. It may not have been over a sword and a scabbard. It may not have had a shield and a gun. But there are various ways that you can pull down a community, pull down a human being by making caste slurs, by calling one an Echa Parthasarathi, Parpa, Adikano. So these are the words. I'm sure those of them from the other parts of the country who may not understand Tamil should understand that these words are not even translatable and not worthy of translation. So the community has bore the brunt for no reason. Why should a child who's born in 2020 take the brunt of all of this? But this is the scenario. And the irony is such people will be the ones who will be the flag bearers of social justice, etiquette, where nothing serves them. So this boy's Janeyu being cut may be new to the people of the rest of India, but this has been happening from the 1950s and 60s, and it doesn't come as a shocking incident to me at all.
No, to where it was made a wrong thing or or a bad thing to do. Now we saw some shocking videos that emerged from Bangladesh flood situation where the Bangladeshi Hindus, their Poonal was being snapped by certain groups, Islamist groups, who said you first convert, shun this away, then we'll rescue from flood situation. This is happening in broad daylight in Tamil Nadu, in our own country, at a time from a place where the seat of knowledge and this whole aspect. Do you believe that Brahmins are under threat today on this entire caste slur, this bigotry right now? And across in Tamil Nadu, it's 4% Brahmins, the population. Across the country, it's less than 4% of Brahmins. But why is it that this has become such a big narrative?
If I would
40% Dalits have reservation, Brahmins have nothing. 4% Brahmins have nothing.
If I would say, Anand, saying yes to your question, because you asked, are Brahmins under threat? And if I say, just in case I say yes, you know what people will comment and pass? This guy is trying to create unnecessary havoc and misery in the minds of people. So my answer would be, threat is, people assume threat means taking the sword and bringing it near your neck. No. Threat is about bullying the community. Threat is about making slurs on the community. Threat is about, mimicking and making a very mockery of the very lifestyle of a community. That is what is happening. So, and that will happen over a period of time. People either get used to it, or people who are extremely affected of it migrate. And that's what they want. And when you made mentions about Bangladeshi Hindus, Janeyu and all of that being cut, I'm sure those miscreants who would have done it would have watched some videos of E.V. Ramaswamy Nayakar or Periyar and would have got inspiration. Even if they don't know the language, they can understand the physical act. Because one of the earliest persons to have inspired, and I'm sure the rest of the country should know, there is one ceremony called Yajur Upakarma,
Yes.
which is celebrated every year. There is a Rig Upakarma, there is a Sama Upakarma. And you know what will be the posters across the walls in Tamil Nadu? The rest of the Bharatiyas should know. They will keep the picture of a wild boar or a country boar, and they will put a Janeyu to it, stating that people who wear these Janeyus are nothing but boars. I don't mind being called a boar because it was Paramatma who took the form of Varaha. I have no problem because every animal has its reason and purpose. But this is the mentality that they have, to call somebody the dirty swine. And one thing, Anand, a personal experience that I have to mention. One of my aunts in the early 1970s, while she had to conduct a Shraddha ceremony in her house, she ended up calling a group of priests, and they didn't come at the right time. And 2 hours after they were stipulated to come, the priests come running with their eyes, tears rolling down their cheeks. And the reason was, while we were cycling to your house, a group of people stopped us. They cut our shikha, they cut our janeyu, and while they were about to take away our dhoti, we tried fleeing from the place. This is a personal incident that I want to register from our family. So it's not been an easy life. But when I say that, people will say, oh, he sits before an Apple laptop and then he will use AirPods and say, but whatever we are is because of perseverance and the patience and the grace of great well-wishers across the country. And there are many, many communities that support the Brahmins also in Tamil Nadu. That is not to be denied. But the political settlement has never been charitable towards this community.
But
that is to be registered and that is to be noted.
Someone who was a Brahmana, a man or a woman, was never supposed to be a caste or this one. They were all supposed to be students in pursuit of knowledge. Anybody who's... So to allocate that and to associate that with a particular grouping and then to try and get so bigoted about it, it only smacks of so much of disinformation and perhaps ill will. The other aspect is that how can a minority be a threat? This is a micro minority of a community within the Bharatiya nation and even this entire Hindu way of life. How can they ever be a threat? So this whole narrative itself is quite shocking. Dushyant, we'll get a move on. Let's hope that the criminals and the miscreants are caught, because the Tamil Nadu police has assured that there will be action. Let's see, we'll track the story very, very carefully. Let's get a move on. And please stay on with us as we turn the spotlight to yet another attack on Sanatan Pratha and the Hindu way of life. And let's see, is it purely politics, posturing, or is there more to it? And will something concrete come out of it, ladies and gentlemen?